Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have a mighty game review of Ready or Not. Now, a quick disclaimer, this is an early access review of Ready or Not. It is not so much a
beta
as much as it is as an alpha. So it is kind of an alpha stage type thing, and this is kind of setting a benchmark to what the game will be in the future, because I'm sure a year, maybe two from now, I'll end up doing another review of this game when the game's actually been fully released. So let's dive on into it here. What is the context of the game? Well, essentially, it's SWAT versus the bad guys. You know, cops versus the robbers.
I'm inside the warehouse.
But let's dive on into the game itself. The publisher and the developer is fully interactive. It is an indie title. They are doing everything themselves. It's a small indie team, not a huge team working on this game, although they are constantly updating the game currently at this point because, as said, it is kind of in an early access alpha stage. It was released 12/17/21 for Windows PC, and honestly, for what they have is actually a really good basis of the game, even though I have seen some glitches and some weird things and has had some weird connection issues. But let's talk about what I liked first and then what I disliked and issues I saw. First off, I feel like the graphics are actually rather good, even though, in my honest opinion, they could actually be improved, especially when it comes to graphic options. There's not a lot of graphic options. There's no way of changing the brightness in this game, which I feel is definitely a downfall because this game is actually rather dark. Not sure why it's always so dark, but it's constantly dark, and I spend a lot of my time either running night vision goggles or flashlights, and pretty much they're on non-stop.
I used to be able to throw a perfect flash.
The sounds are awesome. The guns sound meaty. The reload animations are very crisp. The way the guns handle, the gunplay is just awesome. The gunplay is almost Tarkov level. I mean, it is very good gunplay. There are some places where I feel like Tarkov does better than Ready or Not, but there's some areas where I feel Ready or Not does better than Tarkov. So that kind of being out there, it doesn't have like the advanced weapon customization system that Tarkov has, but it does have some pretty good customization system where you can put on laser pointers, laser sights, flashlights, grips. You can put on optics, stuff of that nature, but it's all very basic right now, which I honestly don't really predict that really changing. They might add some more options in the future, which I'm sure they will, but it probably won't get to the level of Tarkov, in my honest opinion, which if it did get to the level of Tarkov, in my honest opinion, that would be a bad thing, and I just feel that would be unrealistic for SWAT-type operations. It does have many tactical gear options: gas mask, flash goggles, flashbangs, CS gas, standard ball grenades, different types of pistols, different types of rifles, submachine guns, shotguns. I imagine that's going to actually change in the future, though, because like right now, currently, we don't have designated marksman rifles. We don't have sniper rifles. Not in the base game anyway. Let's put that right now, that the base game, because that kind of gets a little different when you start adding mods in, but for right now, we don't have that kind of stuff. Also, nothing to grind. Folks, a game, finally a game. Nothing to grind. Thank God for small favors, right? When every game in the world comes out with some kind of ridiculous grind system, right now, currently, Ready or Not does not have a grind. And I have to say thank God for that, because with every game out there having some type of grind system, it's to the point now where having a grind is become a standard and has actually become very old at this point. The game can be very punishing as well as rewarding. Doing stupid things like not checking for traps, just breaching doors, slamming through doors and everything else can be very punishing, especially in the sense of, well, there could be a guy behind the door with a shotgun waiting for you. Not using flashbangs, not using CS gas, not using standard balls, shooting civilians, all that stuff can be really punishing. But when you get into an operation and everything actually goes right, it actually feels really rewarding, even though there's no XP system, there's no grind system. Currently, there is a grading system, but realistically, it doesn't mean that much. But to me, it just I don't know. You know, I try to go for the, you know, the all-round picture of get all the guys in, get all the guys out, you know, try and rescue as many hostages as I can, deal with the criminals any way necessary, because you can even get the criminals to surrender and arrest them. And I feel that's all kind of like important bases of the game. It feels like you're actually a SWAT officer as you're going through these different buildings and everything else. That being said, it is a tactical shooter. That's why I made references to Escape from Tarkov, because it's on the same level as like Arma 3 and Escape from Tarkov in the sense that it is a tactical shooter. You do need to use tactics. You need to work with your team to complete your objectives, things of that nature. And, you know, pretty much it's bang, you're dead. You know, your body armor will take a couple bullets, maybe. But I've also had instances where I've gotten one-tapped by a pistol, and that's wearing head-to-toe body armor. So body armor is not a guarantee. It does have mod support. There's actually a lot of mods for this game, and this game hasn't been out that long. Now, that being said, the game is made with the Unreal 4 engine, so having mods doesn't really surprise me. The other thing, too, is there's actually people working on a project that's porting voice lines over from SWAT 4, which is one of the mods I use, as well as there's people that's actually begun porting maps over from SWAT 4. So this is really a spiritual successor to SWAT 4 in the sense that you're a SWAT officer and you're trying to do SWAT officer tactical type things. The AI generally is actually pretty good. I've messed with the playing this on single player. It does have a single player mode where you can run by yourself with some AI and you can order the AI around to do different things. It's pretty good, and they are making improvements to it. The AI can't quite do everything yet, but I'm sure that will improve in the future. Now, the one thing I do have to say about it is it is a little clunky at first. I'm sure if I messed around with it some more, I could get a really good feel of how to make it all work and pretty much just work through it as fast as I can. And the other thing is it's got lethal as well as non-lethal options. Beanbag shotguns, pepper ball pellet guns, which actually they're getting ready to release another one here soon as I'm doing this review. Tasers, you know, like I said, Stainer ball grenades, CS gas, flashbangs, and that they're still expanding on the weapons that's in the game. It's mostly right now the game's mostly dominated by M4, M16 type platforms, but they're also expanding that as well as like one of the new guns that's going to be coming soon is actually going to be the FN Scar Light, which is the Scar 16, as well as they're going to be, I don't remember the designation for it, but essentially it's a really short AK. It's not the AKS-74U, folks. I know what gun that is. It's something very similar to that. I believe it's actually an American stamped AK. So when it comes to assault rifles, it is dominated by the M4 platform. That being said, you know, because like the HK416, it's just another type of an M4 platform. But that being said, they are expanding on that, and it does make sense that it's dominated by the M4 type platform, since that's mostly what SWAT teams use. Now, the stuff I disliked and the stuff I feel that needs worked on, especially really needs worked on, is the AI can 360 no-scope like a pro. I literally had a situation where I told someone to put their hands up, I didn't see their gun, and they literally spun, shot, and it pretty much head eyes with a handgun while I'm head-to-toe in body armor. I'm even wearing a ballistic face shield, and I got one tap, and their back was turned to me. So it's like seriously, it was just so quick, and it happens so often. I know they are working on that, but that's just one of those things of that kind of turns me off from the game. Sometimes you can't see traps. Even if you're looking at the door jam, you don't see the trap. We've actually had that a couple times, especially the last few days, where we were looking in the door jam with the door peaked and could not see the tripwire. Also, there's a mirror gun, which is like a tool that you can use to look under the door jams. Now, some doors it will block the mirror, but we've had instances where we're using the mirror gun looking for traps and no trap is visible, no tripwire is visible, but yet we still get hit by a trap. So, you know what I got to say to that? Fucking roll! That's exactly what I got to say about that. I've seen various graphic glitches as well as clipping glitches, and I've also seen people throwing flashbangs through solid doors. Seriously, dude. Crack house. Somebody just runs up with a flashbang, does not peek the door, nothing, just like phased his arm through the door and threw the flashbang. So, yeah, another one of those. There is right now no lobby code system, which would be nice. Basically, what I've been doing a lot of is just sending people my friend code and telling them to join me that way. There is some kind of way you can do it through a link, but I don't know how to do that. And honestly, to me, it's kind of a hassle. It doesn't really matter because a lot of the people I play with are my clan members. So a lot of those guys are on my Steam friend list anyway, but that is kind of a bit of a nuisance, especially when you're new to the community and you're just learning the game and you don't understand everything yet. The next thing I have to point out is every time I close out of this game, I have to open up my damn task manager and literally crash the game. Like, it does not completely close out. It stays locked in the task manager and it goes to more like an inactive state. And, like, I hope that's something they fix too, because that's really a nuisance and it's a bit. There is no tutorial right now, but there is a practice area where you can learn to do the different stuff, make prisoners surrender, you can test out the guns, you can mod the guns and stuff like that in like the police station. So that's not all bad either. So you can actually go and you can practice. And honestly, for being a tactical shooter, this game is pretty quick to like pick up and understand and learn. Now that being said, when it comes to the keybinds, I definitely recommend you go through and you change your keybinds if you can. Such as your action key is mostly F, which is right next to G. And I don't know about most people, but my fingers are a little fat. And when I first started playing, I hit my grenade key very often. Now I ended up rebinding the key and it doesn't happen so much anymore. Just one of those things, throwing that out there, as well as there's some binds that you may just want to bind yourself, such as like left control is crouch, but there's actually an option there for toggle left control, which I switched that to, or not toggle left control, toggle crouch, which I set that to left control and got rid of the original keybind. I think also, I'm not 100% sure, but I think you can actually play this game with an Xbox controller. I haven't tried it myself, but some people have said that they've tried it and it worked, but you have to bind the whole controller yourself. I think the only thing that works is like the sticks. I think you have to bind the buttons. So there you go. You do actually possibly have a controller option. I'm not going to put that in writing though because I haven't tried it myself. Because honestly, when it comes to a game like this, I prefer playing with keyboard and mouse. Anyway, folks, that being said, the standard version of the game is $40. The supporter edition is $113.98, which is pretty much like buying the game 3 times, which seems a bit ridiculous. And you don't get a whole lot for that. What you do is you get early alpha access to maps that they're like testing. There's a couple. You get an access to a special shield, a special camo uniform, which mean mods, and there's also, I think there's also a gun or 2 that you get access to.
Am I gassing or no?
Or if you already have the game, you can get the supporter upgrade for $79.99, which is $80. Basically buying the game 2 more times. Me personally, I honestly right now don't see a reason to buy the supporter edition. I'm not going to lie, folks. I don't think the supporter edition's really worth it. Now, supposedly down the road, there will be a DLC to the game, and it will give you free access to that DLC. I don't know how that's going to work. I haven't seen any news about DLC, and kind of making that kind of promise right now is like, well, let's see what the game has to hold first. Anyway, folks, I do actually recommend buying the regular version of this game. It is a hell of a lot of fun. I did enjoy this game. I do enjoy this game. I only had the game for a week and I already got over 60 hours in it. So there you go, folks. If you're looking for a spiritual successor to S.W.A.T 4, here it is. Ready or not, go out there, buy it. fucking enjoy it. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you liked the video and enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see you again for my next video.